On September 19th, 2024, the Washington Mystics defeated Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever 9-2-9-1 to wrap up their 2024 campaign. Sadly, Washington's victory was insufficient to guarantee them a postseason berth, as the Atlanta Dream defeated the New York Liberty 7-8, 6-7. The Mystics have been eliminated, and the Dream, with the 8th seed, will now go to the postseason. With 20,711 spectators, the Fever Mystics set a WNBA attendance record. In front of a sellout crowd of 20,711, the Fever and the Mystics compete in the most attended WNBA game ever. Let's get right to the action between the Indiana Fever and the Washington Mystics without wasting any time. Aliyah Boston gives the Fever the lead early in the first quarter, and Lexi Hull finds Caitlin Clark, who finds Nalisa Smith for a nice jumper right away, granting the first 2 points to Indiana. Boston draws a foul shortly after and makes both of its free shots with accuracy. Next, Clark finds Smith with a long pass. Smith is fouled but fails to convert, but Lexi Hull tips it in to maintain Indiana's lead. Smith makes 2 more free throws before dribbling to the hoop for a simple layup. Clark takes the game by storm and makes her first deep 3 of the match, displaying her range right away. After 2 successful free throws by Brittany Sykes, Washington eventually scores. In response, Boston passes a bounce pass to Indiana's Kelsey Mitchell, who finishes with a layup. Mitchell is still going, driving for a second bucket. The always lethal Caitlin Clark extends Indiana's lead with another gorgeous three-pointer from deep. Nalisa Smith then scores 2 more points despite stiff defense with a no-look reverse jumper. Sika Cohn of Washington answers by making a layup and a free throw, allowing the Mystics to stay in the game. A few moments later, Cohn boosts her squad with another three-pointer. While Washington continued to press, Melbourne stole the ball from Vag Bentley and made a simple layup. Cohn continues to fire, making another 2 free throws. Erica Wheeler makes a hard drive to the rim for a layup to answer for Indiana. Walker Kimbrough, however, responds for Washington with a 3-point shot. After another Melbourne drive for a layup, Ainsler makes a 3-point shot to end the quarter. With Clark and Smith leading the way, Indiana dominates the first quarter while Washington tries to catch up, setting up a tough second quarter. With 24 points at the end of the quarter compared to Washington Mystics' 22 points, the Indiana Fever led by 2 points. Washington's Sika Cohn drove to the basket for a layup to start the second quarter. Aliyah Boston countered right away with a superb 2-point shot. Ainsler drove in for a layup, adding to the momentum for Washington. Walker Kimbrough attacked the hoop to make a layup of her own to keep Washington in the game. After a fast pass, Dantas made a 3-pointer to heat up the contest. However, Ainsler quickly countered with 3 of her own, quickening the tempo. For Washington, Walker Kimbrough kept up his impressive play, making a corner 3 to cut the lead. After that, Samuelson added a mid-range jumper for 2 points, and Nalisa Smith went to the free throw line for 1 of her 2. Wallace of Indiana made a 3-point shot from the corner, but Atkins of Washington answered right away, tying the score with a 3 of her own. Boston displayed her abilities once more, making a gorgeous jump shot for 2 points. Wallace, however, wasn't done and made a strong drive to the hoop for a second layup. In response, Sykes scored a layup for the Mystics to keep Washington in the contest. Wallace was awarded 2 free throws and made both of them to increase Indiana's advantage. Atkins, though, answered for Washington with another 3-pointer. The back-and-forth action continued as Nalisa Smith attacked the rim and added 2 more points with a layup, while Dawson scored a putback layup for Indiana. In order to reduce Indiana's lead, Atkins made a huge defensive play by snatching the ball and turning it into a 2-point jumper. Caitlin Clark, following her foul draw, kept her cool under duress and made both of her free shots. Atkins got another chance from long range in the closing seconds of the quarter and made a 3-pointer. The Washington Mystics seized command as the second quarter came to an end, outscoring the Indiana Fever by 7 points. Washington had a 5-2-4-5 advantage. Ainsler started the third quarter on a high note by making a running layup. She drove to the basket once more for a layup, proving she wasn't finished yet. After Atkins of Washington made a 3-pointer in response, Nalisa Smith of Indiana countered with a beautiful turnaround hook shot. Washington maintained control as Atkins scored another 3-pointer in perfect time. Sykes nailed a running layup to keep the Mystics on the rise. However, Indiana's Erica Wheeler answered with a corner 3-pointer. With her mobility on display, Nelisa Smith cut through the defense for a basket and then added a free throw to reduce Washington's lead. Sykes continued to be aggressive, scoring another Mystics running layup. After that, Fag Benley scored a basket to help Fever, and Cohn answered with a turnaround jumper. She continued to add to the Mystics' lead by making a stunning reverse layup. Walker Kimber joined in on the fun as well, traveling to the basket in order to lay up herself. Wallace of Indiana attempted to maintain her team's lead with a pull-up three-pointer, but Cohn answered with a reverse layup. Melbourne added a Mystic running layup. However, Samuelson made a strong drive to the hoop for a second layup, but the Mystics lead. The Washington Mystics seized over as the third quarter came to an end, outscoring the Indiana Fever by 16 points. Washington had an 8-2-6-6 lead. Dantas gave Indiana the lead early in the fourth quarter by making one of his 2 free throws. Wallace put pressure on Washington right away with a driving, floating jump shot. For the Mystics, Cohn responded with a layup to keep them ahead. Indiana's Fag Benley answered with a running layup, and the Fever's offense was ignited by Samuelson, who scored a jumper from three-point range and another 3 from the corner. Sykes advanced to the line after drawing a foul, completing both free throws to maintain Washington's lead. The Mystics increased their lead with a three-pointer from Ainsler in retaliation. After that, Berger established her rhythm and made a running pull-up jumper for Indiana. Wallace added a three-pointer to carry on his scoring binge, which allowed the Fever to get closer. Melbourne maintained the momentum for Washington right away by countering with a three-pointer of her own. After Saxton scored a layup and a three-pointer for the Fever, Indiana was able to close the gap. Wallace completed an impressive showing for Indiana with a driving layup as the game was coming to an end. The Washington Mystics lead the Indiana Fever by 1 point at the end of the second quarter. Washington had a 9-2-9-1 lead. That concludes this one. Once again, thanks for watching. If you found the episode enjoyable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you in the following one. It's Glory Reports here. Watch documentaries on demand every day.